I was with my Reiki practitioner today, Kelly, and I talked to her about my soulmate relationships and my lack of Reiki practice, which is something I really want deep in my heart, but it's not come to the surface yet. It's something that I really want to do on Earth in terms of planting seeds, star seeds. And it hasn't come to me in a way that I want because I'm not brave enough to go out there and get it. Like, I'm scared that it's not worth it. It's all going to fall apart, that I'm going to be left with nothing. It's this fear of just like the emptiness that it might cause me. And that stems from planetary alignment right now, as well as my own fears of failure, which was ingrained in me as a child from my mother striving, you can only be successful if you go to school and you pass all these tests and have good marks, and you're stuck in that system, and your whole mentality evolves in terms of thinking that way about the world. But it's not like that with Reiki or anything really. It's just an old concept that's just floating in the air like dust, and I want to get rid of it. With that being said, Reiki is something I absolutely cherish. I cannot tell you enough how much Reiki means to me, because I never practice it. I do practice it, but not to the degree that I need to have sessions with myself and with clients. And I'm very good at it, just innately, because, well, I can intune myself to the higher realms like nobody else, so it's just how it is with me. And finally, I have this measure of confidence where I can go forward with it, but I'm still stagnant. I'm still scared. I'm still hoping and wishing and praying for somebody else to help me, but I don't need that. I just need to move forward. And in order for me to do that, I gotta really pay attention to how I feel and go in the direction of joy in terms of Reiki. And I haven't been doing that. I haven't been, I'm still stuck in that school mentality, that traditional school, like learning, like this is what Reiki is and this is what Reiki is, because teachers teach that, and this is how it's gonna go, and these are the steps to take in order for you to be successful. But I can bypass all of that and just slap it on the face and be like, hey, I'm here, take a gift from me. I'm very good at Reiki, and I haven't developed my skills because I'm so stuck in the old school tradition of what Reiki is supposed to be, and it's not how Reiki is. For me, it never was. I was always bypassing the intuitive side of Reiki, where I was like, no, this is how Reiki is because this is what I'm being taught. But ultimately, I flow with the universal love of Reiki. So initially what I learned was that Reiki is this healing energy that comes from spirit or source, and it's a healing energy. And as a source or spirit energy, it has certain quantities or qualities. It has certain abilities to heal. And yes, it does, but it doesn't quite work in that way. What it does is it tunes you into the it provides you with the energy that you need to recharge, basically and unconditionally. Where the Reiki practitioner thinks he's channeling Reiki or connecting with Reiki or intuitively practicing Reiki, but what it is it recharges your batteries energetically. That's the basis of it. And I'm going to say that with confidence. It is like plugging yourself into a circuit and getting charged up again. That's what Reiki does, essentially, at the very basic spiritual, physical, emotional level. So if you're drained, go to a Reiki practitioner. If you're feeling scrambled and ungrounded and like you're going a million miles an hour, do Reiki on yourself. If you can, go see a practitioner. If you feel like depressed or no motivation, that feeling of just no motivation, Reiki is the one to connect you back into source self. So I don't really care what people call it. I know what I am when I'm Reiki energy. So I can only explain it from my point of view, but it doesn't mean that it can't agree with all the other points of view. It does not mean that at all. I love Reiki, and I think that anyone who has access to it is grateful and blissful, but they don't know it yet. It's like opening up the blinds and shouting out, "Here I am, world," and knowing that you are there. That's what Reiki feels like to me. It's like a validation of my own existence. And that's very important. It's like when I tune into Reiki, it feels like validation. It feels like I am here. Source is here to me. It feels like presence. It feels like an external existential energy that is there running through me, and it has a very strong effect on the person or the patient or the healer or the both of you are synchronized in it. You think that you're getting the healing as well as the Reiki practitioner. You're not just getting the healing as a Reiki practitioner. You're getting it and then you're giving it at the same time. You're getting it and giving it. You're getting it, you're giving it. Spend some time doing Reiki on yourself if you can. If you're a Reiki practitioner, if you can't do Reiki on yourself, you'll never give it to other people. And the more you do Reiki for yourself in a way that you love, that's why it's got to be personalized. And I hate, let me rephrase, the limiting beliefs of Reiki practitioners out there are validating my fears. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? A lot of let's not make them wrong. That's what I'm trying to avoid. People have a certain view about Reiki that's like limited, okay? Just like about life or about angels, or you pick any subject, okay? And they get into it and they think, it's like a stepping stone. It's like some people are going to be like this, but some people stay like this for a long time, okay? And you need to open up your view of what Reiki is. And intuitively, you know what it is. And when you trust yourself, you know what it is. And when you follow those urges of, I want to change my hands like this, I want to move this way, I want to say this, or I feel compelled to ask you about this, like, there is a flow, internal flow in Reiki that connects practitioner with healer. Okay? And that energy connects you not only with yourself, your inner healer, but also with them and their inner healer. So it's like a spin, it's like a twist on things. Not only does it connect them to their spirit, but it connects them to you, and you connect to yourself at the same time. So Reiki is this like diverse energy healing that people are discovering and they're doing. And I know Reiki heals people because it tunes into the unconditional love of self. And Reiki is something that I absolutely love doing because I know what the outcome is. Relaxation, feeling good, feeling well. What I really want to talk about is how to connect to your master guides while you do Reiki. And that's really important because you get to be amplified. That's what master guides do to the soul, from the soul perspective. Okay, this is my soul perspective. Welcome. She's like, welcome. This is sort of a channeling session in terms of Reiki, but it's also to give you guidance on Reiki practitioner versus the traditional Reiki practitioner, and then there is the intuitive Reiki practitioner, which is the side that I'm on is way over here. So I haven't done Reiki because I haven't met the two together. I am so reserved about Reiki because the idea of Reiki is so ingrained in people. This is what it is, this is what it is, and it's not what it is. It's constant. Not only is Reiki constantly evolving, and it depends on human consciousness to evolve, but it's like a channel of energy that is always expanding. So how can you say that this is what Reiki is? You can say that if you want, but what I'm saying is it's like staring at one corner of the room when there's a whole other room to see. There's so much more there that I get to see because I'm a channel and I tune into these things. It's like my business. It's like I made it my business to know what it is. And people who don't have those skills, haven't developed those intuitive abilities, or don't even have the drive for it like I do. Like some people have a passion in life about certain things, you know. Sometimes it's finances, sometimes it's nice cars, sometimes it's girls, sometimes it's Reiki or intuitive healing or just connecting with the soul, okay, for example. And I seem to notice things, so I want to start sharing them on YouTube, not only for people who are participating in the Reiki experience, but also for myself, because when I channel my soul self, like I sort of am now, I get information I did not have before, okay? And it's not only good for me, but it's good for you, because a lot of people like, okay, so here's a good example, okay? Let's just move forward with this. I discovered that connecting with your guides while you do Reiki is enormously helpful, and it's blissful, it's that much more powerful, it's intuitive, it's a much stronger healing takes place. And not only do you feel more comfortable, but so does your client. So calling on angels is another thing I discovered. Typically, I don't call on angels, but I have in the past because my guides do. So my guides will come through and say, okay, let's call on the angelic kingdom. Okay, let's do that. And they'll come through and they'll perform like miracles. I've seen miracles during Reiki. And I've watched myself do some fantastic things, like things you see in fantasy movies. I pulled out canker sores, chronic canker sores out of my boyfriend's mouth. And he hasn't had them when he's had them since he was little. During a Reiki session, united with the angelic kingdom. And I'm literally watching angels pull blackness out of his mouth for half an hour. That's not traditional Reiki, okay? It just isn't. You ask a traditional Reiki practitioner, yeah, does that happen? And they would be like, well, you can do that if you want. That's usually a response. You can do that if you want. But they're not. I'm going to teach people that. I'm not saying it's bad that they don't teach it. I'm saying that's a stepping stone. I'm saying there's more to Reiki. And I'm saying don't be afraid to discover what else is there in terms of Reiki. What you feel intuitively, what you feel drawn to, how your hands want to move. And here's the key I wanted to share. Another thing I've discovered is that Reiki has its own consciousness, and it's alive and it's well. And it's a being of light that you can interact with. It's like a source perspective. It comes from a certain awareness or consciousness. And this consciousness has a name. We call it Reiki. I call it Reiki Master Consciousness. I don't really have a name. I haven't been brave enough to completely channel. That's not true. I've channeled the Master himself, but I haven't really settled into him, if that makes sense. Just because I'm not there yet in terms of awareness. I'm just not ready to merge with that consciousness. And that's how it was with Yeshua. When I first channeled Yeshua, it was only after like 3 months of debating whether I should even do that or not. Okay? So Jesus Christ. So my guides came to me and they're like, yo, so did you want to channel Jesus Christ? Because you know he's ready for you. So I've channeled Buddha, I've channeled deities, I've channeled ascended masters, and they would, in the beginning, there was like a lineup of them. Okay, so I would hear about a new ascended master, and then and he would just come to me like Cypress Bay, oh. And they're like, well, what about Yeshua? And I'm like, are you crazy? I'm not gonna channel Jesus. I was still like the religion in me, because I did grow up Christian. I'm getting off topic, but like I was just terrified. I was like, are you kidding me? I can't channel Jesus. Like, I said no, and for many days I said no, and it took me about 3 months. And I would channel every day for hours. So it took me that long in order for me to connect. Just because I was not ready for that kind of experience. Now I couldn't not channel Yeshua. Mary Magdalene and Yeshua are like the root of my existence, in terms of understanding love, understanding the core of love, the deeper parts, the darker parts, the ones that are always crying out, not the surface shit. I mean, stuff. Anyways, that's how it is. So the Reiki master himself has told me things, and so during a channeling session I'll connect with him. So it's sort of like a standard practice for me. When I do a channeling Reiki session, because I always incorporate channeling into Reiki, I allow the Reiki master to embody me. Like, I say embody me, but it's in terms of channeling. So what happens is when you channel and you allow the spirit to come through you, and you not surrender, you give up your control and you go with their flow. So you trust them to a point where I'm going to do whatever you direct me to, and that's okay. I'm fine with that, because it's for the highest good. So number one, always ask for the highest good. I feel like I need to be more organized. Yeah, bear with me as I organize myself. When you practice Reiki, always, that's like the heavenly rule number one. Always ask for the highest good. And you can ask that from the universe, you can ask that from God, you can ask that from your higher self, you can ask that from your master guides, you can ask that from the angelic kingdom, from the Pleiadians, from Mother Earth, from the higher consciousness of all people in the building. You can just get really inventive. Okay, the possibility, whatever resonates with you. Okay, whatever you feel it is like, not the higher power, but whatever you would like help from, because it does add that much more to your client, and you're essentially doing it to elevate yourself and your client, right? So Reiki is a way to lift yourself up, and it's a spiritual practice, and it's a healing modality. So whatever your reasons are, you get that much more when you ask for the highest good from the universe and your master guides. And I usually like to, what I do, so if I'm starting a Reiki practice for an hour, like a Reiki practice for an hour, I'll say, I ask for my highest good and the client's highest good, or you can say, I ask for the highest good to occur here between us during this Reiki practice. And saying that, it might not always resonate with you, but do it anyway. even if the momentum's not in that direction, because the moment that you forget, anything can happen. Okay, with Reiki, it's like, yes, it's a frequency of unconditional. So Reiki is the frequency of unconditional love. I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't think I did. So the frequency resonates with you and with the client, but when you ask for the highest good, they get precisely what they need right now in this moment, based on everything that they are about, and based on you and everything that you're about and everything that you need. You put that together, you have a very magical potion. Okay, and that occurs, and it's exactly what you need in that moment. So when you ask for the highest good before sleep, before meeting with a client, before talking to a friend, before making love to your boyfriend, when you ask for the highest good occurs. Okay, it's just the law. You ask for it and it is given to you. As long as you're open, and that's not even it, it just occurs. Okay, just because. So people don't understand the concept of asking constantly for what they want from the universe, because they aren't aware of the circumstances. So you constantly got to ask for what you want, constantly. And people who are starting to do that are getting what they want. Okay, and then you get to see that unfold in front of you. So anyways, that's a whole nother topic. Rule number 1, ask for the highest good. Rule number 2, connect obviously with the Reiki energy, but draw symbols on your hands. So you take a marker, okay? This is what I do. I do this, okay? Oh, so intense. Okay, it's not the best drawing, but you get what I mean. When you take the time to do it, put love into it. Okay, so why do I do this? I know it's just a marker and it's gonna fade and it's gonna look funny. I don't really care. The benefits are that great. So let's talk about them. When you put symbols on your Reiki, I don't have to say anything to the Reiki master, or I don't even have to think about Reiki. It's literally in my palm now. I can feel it. Okay? It's in my palm now. Okay, it's there. Just automatically, bam. That's probably one of the most powerful images you'll ever see about Reiki, is just this drawn symbol. And make sure you draw it. Make sure it's your energy, your essence. So it's like, hey, here's me, symbol, Reiki. And you're connected automatically. That's it. Okay? So you draw the other one. Now, I didn't know this for a long time, but there's actually 2 Reiki symbols. And most practitioners know that. But I was taught there's just one. And the other. Okay. Well, there's lots. Okay, let me reflect. There's lots of Reiki symbols. But these circular ones, the power ones, okay? So the little ends, it should be like this. They should be outwards. Okay? On your palms, they should be outwards. So I drew them backwards, my bad. Okay? So the moment that you draw this, the Reiki energy flows through you like crazy. Oliver. So what we've learned about Reiki is that symbols bypass the subconscious mind. This is very powerful. So just in general, not just to Reiki, but this applies to everything, like soulmate relationships. So if you draw infinity symbols and then a heart around it, and you energize that with light in your palm every morning or every night, you'll draw your soulmate to you. Secrets of the universe. If you draw a power symbol or Reiki symbol on your hands, this will draw magnetically to you the energy that you are asking for. And this bypasses your subconscious mind, because symbols have the ability to do that. So it goes right to the universe. So you don't have to say anything. You draw a symbol and the universe knows exactly what you're asking for, and it delivers. Okay? So when you find specific symbols, like even on the internet in terms of consciousness, like power symbols, courage symbols, money symbols. When you draw them on you, when you wear pendants of these symbols, when you energize them with light, so you picture the symbol in front of you in your mind and you turn it into light, or you draw it in your journal, okay? Draw it on your hands, you imagine it falling into your heart from the top of your head. There's lots of different visual exercises you can do on symbols, but what happens is they encourage growth. And I strongly encourage you to grow in deciding what symbols are important to you and utilizing them as tools. Okay? So like the goddess symbol will bring you goddess energy. So if you see a pendant with a goddess symbol on it and you're drawn to it, buy it, because it's going to bypass everything that you're misconceptualizing about the idea, and it's going to bring you self-love in a feminine, divine feminine way. Okay, moving on to Reiki. That's good? That's good. Thank you, Oliver. Okay, so drawing symbols on your hands, important. Even if you want to draw them off the tip of your fingers or just have them small, wash them off. I don't really care what it looks like. Honestly, if people ask me what is that, Reiki symbols, that's all I need to say. And connecting with the Reiki consciousness is what I do. So I'll start like this. I'll put my hands together because this to me just feels like gratitude and appreciation. It's not necessarily like a religious gesture, even though religion does this, right? It's like a prayer hand position, but to me it just feels like gratitude, thankfulness, and connecting to the high realms. I guess that stems from prayer when I was little, but this is just what feels comfortable to me. I don't really care how you connect, as long as you connect to the source of Reiki and the energy. So I ask the Master Reiki Consciousness to be with me during this channeling session. I just say that out loud, just because that's the source. Or you could say something like, I connect to the source of Reiki energy. Bring me all of your love today. Something that is something that means something to you. Now, a lot of teachers will say this, say that. The point is to make it your own. To make it your own. And it's this, I cannot stress this enough, how important it is for you to take Reiki in and just do what resonates with you. How you want to connect. If there's a ritual you want to do. If you scan a person first or not. So a lot of people have different backgrounds of Reiki, and all over the US and Canada, people are teaching it differently. Okay? So some of the things that we do is we learn to scan the body. Okay? So we put our hands over the body and we feel where the biosin is. The biosin is like the level of blockages or disturbances in the body, and you can feel it energetically. If you want more info on that, there is some YouTube videos and things like that you can find more info. But some people scan. I almost never scan. The reason why I don't scan is because it's not really my business what's where, what, when, and how. What I mean by that is that I surrender to the Master Reiki Consciousness anyway, and he does whatever he's going to do, and he knows best. So I could scan the body if I was mentally, and I don't scan the body because I'm not the one doing the healing. He is. So there's no point to me. It would be counterproductive for me to scan the body. I am not suggesting that you should not scan the body. I'm not suggesting that at all. If that works for you, that's your path. Stick to it. If it feels good, if you're getting results, go for it. What I do is I connect to the Reiki Master Consciousness and I feel, okay, and this is the key, and this is probably monumentally hard for people, because to switch on your feelings from your mental mind, especially during Reiki, is hard. Because we're taught these steps, so we're mentally thinking about it. But the moment that I connect to my Reiki consciousness, because it's my Reiki consciousness, as well as yours. So know that when you connect to the master guide, it's your Reiki consciousness, and he infuses it. So you've got unconditional. So you've got the source love in you. Like everybody does have source love in them. And even your client who is so distressed and needs Reiki, they have source energy in them too. And they're actually they're not getting the Reiki. They're resonating with you. There's another difference. I'll talk about it in a minute. So resonating. So with the Reiki consciousness, once I connect to it, I feel, okay, where do you want to go? So once I'm merged with the consciousness and it's flowing through me, I feel where I feel drawn to. What is asking for my love? What is asking for my attention? So sometimes I go straight to the feet. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes a pattern is from the top to the bottom and the back. Okay, a lot of the times the Reiki consciousness will literally work on your heart chakra for like half an hour, and that's it, and there's nothing else there. Sometimes it'll be like from head to toe. Sometimes it'll just be complete grounding, and for half an hour I'm just touching the feet. So whatever it is that the Reiki master decides he wants to do, because I ask for the highest good, I connect with him, and then I just trust. So feeling where he wants to go is how I channel. It goes by feeling. So if I were to feel myself right now, so the Reiki is flowing through me. If I were to connect with my Reiki guide, right, or my master, and I would ask him, okay, where do you feel like going? Like my hands are literally magnetic to my throat. Like magnetic, right? I just feel like your throat. And I've been getting that message for some time. I don't know what it is about my throat, but my throat chakra apparently is not open all the way. I don't know if some of you can see that. Some people have the ability to see that. But there is some sort of blockage in there because I'm not speaking my truth enough. I'm not expressing myself in terms of spirituality, in terms of my own truth, as much as I am supposed to. I'm more concerned with other people's thoughts sometimes, and that's the main issue with me. So I actually block myself from speaking because other people are there and they need my ear. So I'm aware of that, at least. So all spiritual aspects of self are connected to your life lesson. So if a person has a throat chakra issue, it's because they're probably not expressing themselves verbally in the way that they need to in some aspect of their life. If their crown chakra is not open, okay, your hands are going to get magnetized to the top of their head. Okay, and that's spiritual grounding. So you're not accessing the higher learning of your higher self, and that usually stems from focusing on the root chakra too much. Like if you have financial issues, or if you have grounding, like if you haven't been outside for a week, like if you work in an office and you just go home after work and pass out, you probably need spiritual grounding, which is the root chakra. And on the top of your head, that opens. Okay, so your root chakra is like deeply connected to the top of your head, the crown chakra. Deeply. They're like duality. So fold yourself in half, and the chakras are like representative of the bottom. Top and bottom is equal and the same. They're mirrors of each other. Okay? What else? Resonance. Right. So about resonance. There is a law in this part of the universe, mostly all around here, in this galactic area. We have the law of resonance. So what happens is that a person will choose to or choose not to resonate with you. Say you're happy, okay? And that emotion is projecting itself outwards because you're aligned with your true self, your true nature. So you're happy. And a person could come along that is not aligned with themselves. They have a choice when they're around you to either continue feeling the way they do or resonate with you. Reiki is the same. When you channel Reiki, when you connect with the Reiki itself and it flows through you and you allow it to connect through you and you take it in, you become Reiki. So you sort of like sink in to the feeling of Reiki. A lot of people miss that. They just stand there and they're doing Reiki, but they're not really opening up to the possibility of the flow of Reiki in its entirety. So I do know that when you allow and you sink in to the energy itself, it's like channeling. I've been taught this lesson over and over until I got it, till I nailed it on the head. Sinking into your feelings and into Reiki itself. So when you feel all warm and tingly, or you feel, okay, I'm connecting now, I can feel it. Sink into that, merge with it, and become it. Like blend it, like become Reiki itself. That's why it's got to be personalized. It cannot be traditional and be really a deep part of you unless you allow it. Because when it becomes a part of you, it's automatically personalized. It automatically becomes yours, and you embrace it and you make it your own. And you got to do that not only for your clients but for yourself. When you resonate with a high quality flow that is open, that is strong, and you're flowing in its direction, like your will aligns with the Reiki will, okay, then you'll be able to not even think, or you're not even thinking, you're just feeling, and everything's acceptance. You accept the love that is coming through you and you allow it. That's how I learned to channel. That's how you learn to do really good practice Reiki on people, okay? And you got to trust yourself. Above all, you got to trust yourself, because some people are going to say you're not doing it right, or they're going to say, I don't know what she did to me, but I feel fantastic. It's usually what the outcome result is. When people are done their Reiki session, they don't want to get up off the bed. They don't want to get trapped in the world again. They want to continue feeling good. A Reiki session that is 1 hour is usually, I find it not even close to being long enough. 2 or 3 hours is, unless you're getting regular Reiki and you don't really need it, you're very balanced and you're happy and you're in tune with yourself, you're not going to need all of that. But most people that I can meet on the street will probably need like 2 to 3 hours Reiki. They don't want to get up after an hour session. It's not enough for them. So that gives you a measure of how needed Reiki is, okay? So I did it on my best friend for about half an hour to 40 minutes. And it just put her in a state of like, I don't know, she just melted into the couch, because we did it on my couch. And yeah, the results of Reiki are phenomenal. Unless you're not open. So that's another thing. So when your client is not open, you got to ask for them to be open. If you feel tense, you got to ask yourself to relax, let go, and be open. And sometimes you will have to do that. Sometimes you have a long day, you're running late for an appointment, or you just got in a fight with your significant other, or your kids are screaming, or something heavy financially is weighing on your mind. When you get to a Reiki session, you got to leave all of that behind, not only for yourself, but for your client. Okay, that's important. And you got to connect with yourself, and you got to have an open flow. And you honestly have to let go of the day, just for the hour, okay? And if that problem doesn't want to go away, ask it to go away. You can come back in an hour. I literally used to have to do that to my ego when I channeled, and it worked for a while. Now it's automatic, okay? Now all of my ego parts are integrated into channeling, and they're all okay with it. But before, when I had resistance, I would literally ask my ego to wait at the door, okay? Ego, go wait at the door. When I'm done channeling, okay, we will merge back again. Why do I do that? Because your ego is separate than yourself. There's lots of separate selves inside you that function all the time. And they're doing lots of different good things for you. But some of them are going to have resistance. Like if they're worried about a problem, if you're worried about a problem, that might interfere with the connection of Reiki. So you got to let go, open, relax, and do that intentionally. Okay? In your head, tell yourself, I'm gonna let go now. I want to relax. Can I relax? I'm going to connect to the Reiki Master Consciousness, and I want to let go of all my problems right now. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to allow the Reiki Master to guide me and the Reiki energy to guide me, and it's self-sufficient, and you're doing healer work, okay? Not only are you doing it for yourself, you're accepting and realizing Reiki within yourself, you're receiving that love, and most often what's going to happen is when you do that, the answers for your problem actually come during the Reiki session. That happens to me almost all the time, and to other people. They get answered. The moment that you let go of a problem, the answers are able to come to you, especially in the frequency of Reiki. So my master guide told me the other day that we can manifest using Reiki energy. That's something I don't know how to do. That's something it was like an inkling of a suggestion, which is, so you know, you can use Reiki to manifest and tune out your problems. So I'm going to ask him to come through for a moment, maybe talk about that real quick. Oliver? So Reiki is like an amplifier to your own energy. That's why it is personal, and that's why you got to make it, you got to bring it into your heart, and you got to know that it is there for you. Not just for the client, but it's there for you. So you can manifest things openly with the Reiki energy. So what happens is that you internally reserve yourself in certain ways sometimes, depending on your situations. And when you want to unclog yourself, unroot the problem, what you do is, before you unroot, okay, you ask the Reiki energy to come into you, connect with it, and you put your hand in your palms wherever it feels comfortable for you, and you say, I want to manifest for the highest good of all. So it's like financial abundance. So let's do that now. So let's say, I want to manifest through the amplifier of Reiki. I want to amplify my financial abundance through the highest good and through unconditional love. So, and then you let go of that. You send that out to the universe, and then you say the next thing that you want. I want a good boyfriend. I want dinner tonight. I want somebody to cook it for me. And you allow, and while you let go of that thought, you connect to Reiki back again. So your consciousness falls into the thought, and then it falls into Reiki. And then your next thought, I want a dog. I don't want a dog. I don't want a dog. Okay, you don't want a dog. Okay, jump back into the frequency of Reiki. Oh, that feels nice. So anything you're worried about, okay, you state what you don't want, and then come back to Reiki. Okay? You want to be pet free. You can say it in positive or negative, doesn't matter. The universe understands. The universe knows. I don't want a dog. So you say, I want to be pet free. That doesn't feel that good. Why not? Maybe you want a pet? I don't want to be responsible for a pet. Yes. Okay, so say that out loud. I don't want to be responsible for a pet. And then when you jump back to Reiki, when you get that feeling, that smile, that I'm using Magdalena as a demonstration, I know, but it's funny. And you get that relief feeling, you got to the thought that is at the core of the center of what you want. So first we didn't want a dog, then we wanted to be pet free, and then that didn't feel good. So what is that you really want? Well, it'd be nice to have a pet, but I don't want to be responsible for it. I don't want to be taking care of it. I don't want to be cleaning no poop. I don't want to be having to have neglectful feelings of not having to walk the dog, blah, 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 blah. Now that's done, okay? And you continue. If you want to manifest a soulmate, if you want to solve your problems, and get clear on what it is that is at the heart, when you get that smile on your face, when you feel, yes, that's it. And keep going. So thought, Reiki, So when the flow goes through you, it's a frequency of unconditional love. That means you support yourself and you're connected to self. That means you're asking the universe for what you want, and you are supposed to do that. You are here as manifestors of desire. In terms of human beings, you come here to get clear on what it is you want and what it is that is needed. Spirit would not know what is needed unless the desire inside you did not arise. And Spirit wants to fulfill all of its desire. It wants to please itself, always and foremost. And you will keep going like that till the end of time. Okay. Until all needs are satisfied and you're blissful and happy. And then you'll find some other needs, and consciousness expands. And it expands and it expands. And Reiki itself will expand into consciousness itself. And you're doing that as a Reiki practitioner, all of you. Okay. Thank you for your time. I think that's pretty much it. Anything else that we want to mention about Reiki that I've discovered? No, we're good. Okay. Thank you.